more in store, and today I'm going to be replacing an ironing board cover for my portable ironing board. I use this ironing board for retreating and for sew days, and it's really handy because it folds up real skinny, and then when you're ready to use it, I use mine every day. I have a small sewing studio, and so I have mine right next to my machine, and so you just fold out the legs. I don't know if you can see the whole thing. So there's the full height, and then it also has a second height, which is really convenient. But I have, so I've had this for about, and look, see, it's really gross. I need to replace the cover. I've had this 3 years, and if any of you have sewn or quilted for any length of time, you know that this can happen to an ironing surface, and it's not burn marks, it's just use. And so this is obviously where I do most of my ironing for my bias tape, which I make for the Mad Weaves. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking off the cover, and then I'm going to be replacing the cover, and also there's a little piece of batting, which is the padding in between the cover and the wood. And I'm going to be replacing the cover with this really cute fabric here. Bring this closer. I just love this. I'm going to be replacing it with this fabric, and I thought it would look really cute. I'm not sure if it'll stay white for very long, but that's okay. They make more of it. And so the supplies I'm going to be using to do this project are, I'm going to use a screwdriver to get the staples out. I've already taken quite a few out already. They're all along the perimeter and several here in the corners. And then I always keep a pair of pliers because sometimes the staples won't come out easily. And so I have that. And then I will also need my replacement cover, my batting, and then I have one of those electric staple guns. Well, my husband does, and so we have that over here when we need that. So I have just a few more staples to take out of this section right here. I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see just a little better. And as you come on, say hello and let us know where you're watching from. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the camera to see. Let's see, that looks like a pretty good view. So I have a few staples left. There's, well, I guess several. So I'm just gonna dig my staple or my screwdriver in here and get these last staples out. I'm really glad that my husband had a staple gun. I wasn't sure, but I looked in his toolbox, and sure enough, he had one. Otherwise, you could probably use a regular stapler. I just don't know how well that would work. I've always seen these done with the kind of the industrial staples, which work really nicely. But like I said, I use this ironing board every day, so it's about time to change the cover. I think I have all the staples out, and just to give you an idea, that's how many staples I pulled out of the whole thing. That's a lot. Hopefully I have enough in my staple gun to replace that. So I'm going to set these tools aside and throw these used staples away. Hopefully I got all of the staples out. Let's see here. Oh, I feel one right over here still. I missed one. It was hiding. I think that's the last one. So like I was saying, I use this every day. And in fact, I used it this weekend. I had 2 sew days. I had one on Friday and one on Saturday. We had a guest speaker in town, I believe from Los Angeles, and we had a couple workshops this weekend. Darn, I have one more back here. Set that right up there and remove this one back here. We had a couple workshops this weekend, and I learned how to make what's called a pickled beets quilt top. It's learned some great new techniques that I'm excited to share with you about foundation paper piecing. And then I also learned how to do some really fantastic things with bias tape and made a pillow cover in that workshop. Okay, I think I have all the staples taken out now. Just just get that out of the way. Yes. Okay. I should have done this a long time ago. So this, I'm guessing I could probably reuse this batting if I wanted to. It doesn't look, well, I don't know. I use so much starch when I make my bias tape. This is like, feels like duck canvas is so stiff. So I'm just going to toss this because it's pretty gross. So I'm going to move this ironing table out of the way, and I'm going to set down my new cover, and I'm going to set it down. Obviously, it doesn't matter which way I set it. I did cut it directionally so that the telephones would be going up and down and not sideways. But as far as which way's up and which way's down on the board, it doesn't really matter. It's interchangeable for me. And then I'm also going to just center up my piece of batting. Now on this board, I kind of did some rough measurements, and it looked like that I needed about 3 inches on both sides and top and bottom to fold in and then fold in again and staple. And then the batting was just kind of covering the board, which I don't know if you can tell from the video, but this is not a one piece of batting. I kind of sewed it all together. These are scraps from a quilt that were leftover pieces from something I just got back from the long armor. Okay, so I'm going to set this down here, and it looks like my batting is going to be just the right size for my board. And I'm just kind of centering this board up here over my batting. And then if I remember correctly, it looked like I was going to fold it once over and then once over again to get it up, and then I just staple it down. This is going to be so easy. I love this project. So I think I'm going to start, I'm going to move it this way so maybe you can see a little bit better. I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to, like I said, fold it over once, and then I'm going to fold it over again, and I'm going to bring the staple gun over, and I'm going to staple. Let me get that staple gun. Now I tested to make sure that this thing works, and it does. I have the safety on because there's all sorts of warnings on this. And I have several staples. I hope I have enough. All right, I took the safety off. I'm going to set that down real quick. So I have one fold, and I'm going to fold it over one more time. And I'm going to try not to staple my finger. This is going to be loud. Gosh, that scares me every time. Okay, one staple down. I think this is going to go pretty quick. Let's see what happens when I get to the corner. I'm going to make sure that that I'm stapling every time. I don't know why it wants me to open this up. It's being picky, but I'll do that. I think I need to staple. Whenever I staple, I need to make sure that I'm catching both pieces of fabric as I go. Gosh, that's so loud. So I'm excited about this because when I was retreating this weekend with my Kansas City Modern Quilt Guild sisters, I was embarrassed because my ironing board was so hideous. I mean, you saw it, it was bad. And one of the gals that I was sewing next to had the board that was identical to mine, because one of our guild members' husbands make these boards, and then you know, we buy them from her. They're great. They're so great. I can't tell you how awesome these are. But she had the same cover fabric as I have on my old one that I just took off. Hers was so pretty and white. Mine looked awful compared to hers. So yeah, this was definitely needed to be done. Now I'm not sure how I'm going to do this corner, so we're just going to fudge it. I'm going to wrap it like a present. That should work, right? I don't know, does anybody know what to do here? I'm just going to wing it. That doesn't look right. I feel like I need to maybe go both sides and then do the end. because it had more of a bulk here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just winging it here, folks. There's no Pinterest tutorial that I found on this one, so we're just going to figure it out together. Let's see if I can point this in a direction where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to do this other side. Boy, it looks like this. I don't even know what kind of wood this is. It's taking these staples like a champ, though. Okay, so let's try this side now. Simply just folding and stapling. I want to make sure I get it pretty tight, though, because I don't want it to be loose. Don't want a loose piece of cloth. So I'm going to make sure that I pull it really tight. I think this is the same technique that you do to recover like a step stool or something. You know those little ottoman things that have the fabric just on the cushion top? Sometimes you can take the the padded inserts out of the chairs and simply use this technique to recover the chair seats. I've never tried that, but if that's the case, wouldn't that be simple? Talk about some cute chairs you could make. That's one thing I don't need is another project. I have so many of those as it is. Okay. So like I was saying, oh gosh, this scares me every time I do this. We were retreating this weekend. That didn't work. We were retreating this weekend, and well, we also had our guild meeting, and that was a great meeting. Our presenter, Latifa, had brought all of her, well, probably not all, but many of her quilts, and she did a quilt show for us, and she had a great talk. It was very inspirational. I always leave Guild feeling so inspired. I love it. Okay. Not sure if you can see what I'm doing here. Gosh, every time. Okay. So now I have both sides done. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, so much better. I love it. Okay, we just have to do the ends here. Let's try this end first. So like I said, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. So I think what I'm going to do, oh hey April, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this up and then maybe somehow do that. Something like that. It's going to have to work. I'm not sure what her trick was. I could maybe, let's look at her folding. Maybe that's what we should do. She had it out like this. And just folded it up. Yeah, I think I can do the same thing. Okay. So it looks like we're supposed to leave it out, fold it up, and then drive it in there, and then this leftover piece can be folded twice. That's how she did it. Cool. Alright, so I need to fold this twice over and nail it just like I did the sides. See if I can do this. It's kind of an awkward position. It's loud. Should have enough staples left to do this. She had about 4 staples in each corner, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have that many. And I know the local hardware store is not open to sell me more staples tonight. So we're going to do what we can to get this on here, and then if we need to, tomorrow go over it with some more staples. Okay. Yeah, that's what she did. So what I did here, let me see if I can just adjust this and zoom in. Oh, it does zoom in. How fancy. Okay. So what I did is I'm just folding it. It was basically like this. Then I fold it over once. Get the sides tucked in there. Whoops, my fold came undone. And then just set it down. Something like that. Try to do it as neat as possible. And then I'm going to staple it right here through the meat of all that. See if it Should go through all that business there. Jeez Louise, it sure did. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Just fold it over a couple times and staple it down. For some reason, my staple gun wants me to open it up when I staple it back down. Okay. It's a little hanging out a little bit much for my taste. There we go. This is a big folded piece, so hopefully this staple gun takes it. Jeez. It's going to be loud. Jeez. It sure did. Sweet. Alright, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. It's getting a little tight there. Okay. Alright, now I just have this other side to do. So excited. This is going so quickly. I'm going to move this out of the way. Alright. And I think I pulled these ends out and I folded it twice. Just going to stick it back up there. One more on the side here. Don't want to get it too close to the center because on that last corner staple that I did, I was concerned that my side staple or my end staple was a little close to the end, the corner, and I didn't want to drive my corner staple into another staple. That would have been probably more than it could have handled. Let's see, I should have done that first. Let's refold that. Okay, let's do one more big staple here on this corner. Jeez. That's staying pretty good. How exciting. Okay. Fold this up. I'm sure there's like a really professional way to do this, but in all honesty, this is the back side of your ironing board, so you know, just fold it as nice as you can. I'm trying to just cover up all of my raw edges, which is working quite nicely considering, you know, I didn't do any hemming or anything like that. You know, I'm just folding everything over twice. And that seems to keep all those raw edges in just fine. Okay, I'm going to do another, well, this might be my last one. Okay. I want to make sure that these corners, I think I got it. Let's see here. Let's look on the front and see how this looks. I love it. What do you think? Isn't that great? That is so cute. So, yeah. I have a non-grody ironing board cover. I'm so excited. Let me open up this view a little bit. There, let's see here. Isn't that cute? I love it. I'm so excited.